Hello everyone and welcome back to Punisher's Paintball YouTube page. Today we are doing a for the player comprehensive review on the DLX Luxe X paintball gun. If you guys like this video, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, drop a comment below, and follow us on social media. Alright, so we have the DLX Luxe X paintball gun here. This is actually the Aquaterra colorway, which we'll show you guys here in a minute. And first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do an unboxing video to show you guys exactly what's all included when you purchase a Luxe X. So the Luxe X retails at a price point of anywhere from $1499.95 all the way up to $1650 depending upon the anodizing job that you select. Base colors are going to be that $1,500 price point, and $1650 are for the special anodizing jobs offered by DLX. I will say that DLX probably has some of the best anodizing jobs on the face of the planet. I wanted to highlight that with the Aquaterra that we have here because I really think that is a really cool anodizing job, and there are all types of different limited runs when it comes to anodizing jobs. So, needless to say, what do you get for that $1,500 to $1,600 price point? You get this really nice carbon fiber lined DLX Luxe case. It is a softer case. It's not completely hardened, but it's also not completely soft either. It's like a semi-rigid case. Opening up the case, you get your quick start guide right here, as well as many other options here. So as you can see, it does come with a Luxe barrel cover here. It comes with a charging cord, which we'll get into here in a little bit, as far as how to charge your DLX Luxe X. You get a full Allen key set, which we'll take out and show you all here. As you can see, there's many different Allen key sizes here to access all the different Allen screws on your Luxe X marker. And the USB-C cable, we'll show you guys that as well. What's really nice about this case is that every single pocket serves a purpose for every single item that the Luxe X comes with, which is really nice. The Luxe barrel cover is a nice little touch. I like the fact that it is different and is colorful and everything else like that. So as you can see right there, we have that. And on the one side of the Luxe case, you can see that it comes with the Freak XL barrel system, which we will set aside here for a minute. And then we have the parts kit. This is going to include many of the different O-rings that you're going to need, as well as a few other things that you're going to need. We also offer all of the spare parts on a spare parts diagram at punisherspb.com. If there's one specific small part that you need, we offer that on the website. It comes with a full ounce of Luxe Dow 33 grease, which there's nothing really all that specific about that. That's pretty standard across the board. And then this beautiful Luxe X. So there you guys have it. There is the Aquaterra Luxe X, and as you can see, it is a gloss finish, very colorful, and there are many different designs. Probably one of the more popular designs is the Patriot Splash that was offered, and this is the $1,600.50 price point for the Luxe X. So Luxe X was released about 2 years ago at World Cup 2018, and overall the Luxe X has been a big hit. There was many different features from the Luxe X that was not offered on the previous generation, the Luxe Ice. Most notably being the big thing with the Luxe X being the trigger frame disassembly, as well as an improved regulator system and an improved bolt system core, which we'll tap into here and show you guys in deep detail all those things. But the Luxe Ice was a phenomenal marker. Was very popular because of its reliability and its smooth shot. Didn't offer the greatest of efficiency, which was one of the things that DLX decided to tackle on with the Luxe X as compared to the Ice. Made it more efficient with the Luxe X, but the Ice was probably one of the pinnacle of the Luxe platform of guns because of the fact that it was so reliable and was just a great shot, was a tunable shot, and really the only issue with it was the fact that it wasn't great when it came to efficiency. DLX did many different things when they released the X, as far as other features that most people didn't even foresee at the time. The main one being the trigger frame disassembly, but there was also some other things that we'll tap into when it comes to the board and everything else like that. So first things first, the first thing that we like to do on these reviews is we are going to actually weigh the Luxe X and kind of put it in comparison to what does the Luxe weigh compared to other markers. One thing that I like to add is that we add the barrel system to the marker. The Luxe X takes the Freak barrel system with the XL insert. It comes with a 687 insert. We're going to weigh this all together, and we have our trusty scale here, so I'm going to make room for it. And as you can see, we are going to zero it out. And when we put it on the scale, we are at 1 pound 12.5 ounces, which is really lightweight for a marker. It's probably the lightest setup when it comes to any of the high-end markers when compared to the CS2 Pro, as well as the Dye M3 Plus and the MacDev Prime XTS. It's very lightweight. There's a few different things that contribute to that, and we are going to tap into that. Okay, so the first couple things that we're going to do are some standard measurements when it comes to FTP reviews before we completely take the Luxe X apart. So one thing that we like to do to kind of give you guys an ergonomical idea of how this gun is going to feel is we are going to measure from the back of the trigger frame to the back of the front grip. So we're going to do that now. And total distance between all the way to the shortest area of the back of the trigger frame to the back of the front foregrip is about 5¼ inches. So the Luxe X is definitely a little bit more spread out. The front grip, as you can see, is actually angled forward at a slight degree change as compared to being completely vertical, which is kind of an interesting feel. It makes the gun feel really good in the hands. The other thing too is the front or the trigger frame back here is also a little bit thinner. So we're going to measure that as well, and that should measure, including the grip, we're at about 1 inch and maybe 1 1/16 inch. So it is a very thin feel in the hands. Ergonomically, I love these guns. They feel great in the hands. I like the fact that the Luxe X is all metal. Good point to mention is that it's all metal. There's no plastic, and the front grip is metal. You can actually remove this forward grip. We'll show you that when we actually take the regulator apart, but you can actually take that and put a rubber grip in front as well if you like that rubber feel. It just feels really good on the hands, very lightweight and everything else like that. Ergonomically, I got to give the Luxe probably a solid 8 out of 10 when it comes to ergonomics. There's very few guns that I like more in the hands than the Luxe model of guns. They just feel phenomenal in the hands. I like the fact that it's all metal, there's no rubber, and everything else like that. So with that said, we are going to tap into the different essential parts of the marker. First thing that we'll talk about is the barrel system. So like I had mentioned before when we were weighing the marker, the Luxe comes with a Freak XL barrel system. It comes with the Freak linear forward tip, and it is XL milled so that the XL tip fits all the way in, and comes with a 8/7 insert. You can purchase either a full kit separately, or if you want to just purchase 1 or 2 other sizes, which is personally what I recommend, you can also do that. So like a 684 insert is probably the most popular, or a 679, 682, such like that. So that's really nice about that. And the inserts are nice because they're not too expensive. These inserts retail for a price point of $14.95, so not too bad if you just want to get a few different inserts to match that. Or you can purchase the full Freak XL Bore Master Kit as well. I love the barrel system because the porting, as you can see here, the porting runs all the way back to right about here. So it creates an excellent sound signature. It's my preferred barrel besides the UL barrel. It's probably my only other one that I really like. but I do run this on my Luxes, and I really like that. One thing that I like to mention with the only other thing that I like to mention with the barrel system is that the Luxe is not autococker thread. In my opinion, that is a downfall of the Luxe. Basically, the mindset there being that the free barrel system is what most people run on their Luxes, so you don't really need to upgrade your barrel system or change your barrel system. But in the event that you want to do that, most barrels nowadays are sold as autococker thread, and most high-end barrel or most high-end markers nowadays are autococker thread. The Luxe is unique in that sense, in the fact that it is not autococker thread. It is actually its own thread. Smart Parts or SP Ion Impulse Luxe thread. So it is very thick thread, and I like the fact that it is only like 2 or 3 turns to get that in. That is really nice. As you can see, that was super simple. Autococker is much thinner thread, so it takes a little bit more work. But you know, overall, I think that's a downfall of the X. Is that it would make more sense to be autococker thread. But with that said, it is almost one of everybody's favorite barrel systems. So the chances that you're going to have to upgrade or change your barrel system, there's really no such thing as upgrading, because it comes with a premier bolt or a barrel system. But in the event that you wanted to change to, say, the FL barrel system for Planet Eclipse or the UL barrel system from Dye, you're going to actually have to purchase either an adapter or try and find the thread that works for those. And I don't believe that either Dye or Planet Eclipse sell a Luxe threaded barrel system, so you actually have to buy an adapter, which Luxe does sell for these, the Luxe to autococker thread. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the bolt system. The X core that we are talking about. As you can see there, it slides out nice and easy. One thing that I like to mention, first time from the factory, these can be a real pain in the butt to try and pull out. But basically, you just take a barrel squeegee, push it out the front, and past that, you really don't run into any issues. So this is one of the major selling points of the Luxe X, is the X core bolt system. So very simple to maintain this bolt system. All you're going to do is unscrew this here. The moving mass of the Luxe X bolt is significantly different compared to the ICE. We'll show some B-roll of the ICE bolt system here in just a second. But as you can see, it is just barely anything there. I believe this weighs, well, let's weigh it here real quick, but I believe it's less than an ounce when it comes to the overall weight of the bolt. So yeah, we're at 0.3 ounces when it comes to the bolt. So part of the reason why the operating pressure of the Luxe X is right around 110, and part of the reason that is significantly changed from the Luxe ICE is because there's way less moving mass. So the Luxe ICE operating pressure was 180 psi, whereas the Luxe X operating pressure is about 110, so that you can see that there's a massive difference in efficiency between the X and the ICE. As far as maintaining the bolt system, as you can see, it was just a simple unscrew there, pop out your bolt system, clean off your O-rings there, and probably change your O-rings maybe once a year is what we suggest here at Punishers. And basically all you're going to do is take your bolt system, put it back into here. And reason why I say once a year is because another thing that I really like about what Luxe does with their bolts is that they use polyurethane O-rings. So these are very soft O-rings, but they're very durable O-rings. So you're going to get a very long life expectancy out of these O-rings. The X bolt system is phenomenal. I like it a lot, and shoots brittle paint well. It's efficient and reliable. So actually, the next thing that we'll do is we'll show you how easy it is to disconnect the the trigger frame, from the body of the gun. This is a Luxe X specific thing when it comes to high-end markers. So as you can see here, there is one latch that's on the back of the bolt, so you have to pop your bolt out to take the trigger frame off. This pushes forward all the way, just like that. And then here in the front, you're going to see a latch right here. You're going to push this back, and bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. There is your trigger frame. there is the body of the gun, guys. Look how cool that is. That's probably one of the biggest features of Luxe X. It's the only gun that features this, and it is really, really cool thing that no other high-end features. So very simple to take this apart. Everything is wireless. So the solenoid actually has some pins right here that talk to the pins of the board on the trigger frame. The transfer of air is located right here, ties into the body of the gun as you put it all back together. And as far as the eyes go, another thing that I like to mention is there's actually an upper and a lower portion of the eyes, so that you no longer have the issue with the older Luxes, where with the older Luxes you had one eye ribbon, and if you tore that eye ribbon, it was very fragile. If you tore that eye ribbon, it was basically done, game over, and you had to replace your eyes. Now with the Luxe X, you don't have to do that anymore. These basically just connect to each other as you put this back together. As you see how simple that was. This locks into place there, and the front latch gets popped back into place as well. Here we go. There you go. And that's it, guys. That's all you have to do to access your trigger frame in your body and clean it out and everything else like that. Now, with that said, another thing that I like to mention with the Luxe X is the board and the programming, and what about battery, okay? So with battery, there are 2 snap screws on the Luxe X, just similar to any other Luxe model. As you can see, the battery and charging system is right there. One thing that is a huge improvement from the Luxe X compared to Luxe Ice, Luxe OLED, and everything else like that is that they no longer use that goofy adapter that you had to use to charge your Luxe OLED or whatever the case may be. You couldn't find it in any store, any gas station. Say you forgot your cord, what are you going to do? Now you don't have that problem because the Luxe X is a USB-C charger. Pretty much any store is going to have that. So say you're on the way to the field and you want to, you forgot your charger at home, you can purchase a cable from, Walgreens, Walmart, whatever the case may be, local gas station, and you can get that USB-C, charge your X so that you're not completely out of the gun for the day. Does not use 9 volts, does not use AA's. So I think that's definitely a pro and a con to the X, because in the event that you don't have a cable and you're having trouble locating one, it could definitely be a con, because then you're basically out without a gun. I also think that it's a pro in the sense that you don't ever have to worry about paying for batteries again. So that upfront cost of the cable, which there's one located with the marker, but in the event that you had to replace the cable and such, you can do that. The other thing too is if you want to update your firmware on your Luxe X, you can use that as your data cable from your computer to the Luxe X to do that. Another thing with the Luxe X is everything is toolless. So in the event that you want to swap out the battery, you have this little plastic retainer that holds your battery into place, and as you can see, your battery is right there. It basically just pops out, slides out, so we're going to try and do that here. Okay, so we've popped this rechargeable battery out of the Luxe X. This battery has been touted to have a much larger capacity than the Luxe Ice, so your charge on the Luxe X is going to last for a very long period of time, which is a very nice feature. You're not going to have to worry about charging your X every single time that you use it. Very, very nice feature, and it's going to save you on having to charge it. But on top of that, if you think about how many times you have to replace your AA's or your 9 volt to your current marker, you never have to worry about that again when you have the X. So needless to say, all this does is it pops right back into place, and we're going to line this up here, look for the prongs, line those up, and the X pops right back into place, or the battery pops right back into place. You push your retainer back in, and that's literally all you have to do. This guard right here goes back into place, and this is all toolless, which is not a very common feature when you're talking about other markers. You have to use Allen keys on a lot of this, and definitely a big selling point for the Luxe X in my opinion. Programming the Luxe X is very simple as well. So basically with the Luxe X, all you're going to do is very similar to other markers. You're going to pull the trigger and turn the marker on.
Programming
and
mode. Main menu. Firing mode.
it goes directly into programming mode and firing mode. So we are going to walk through the different features when it comes to firing mode and everything else like that.
Wow.
In the event that you want to change one of your settings, all you're going to do is click this button here.
16 milliseconds.
And everything basically will be laid out for you. I don't know what her name is, but she talks to you, and the board will talk to you and basically tell you what your current setting is in the event that you want to change it.
Main menu. 12.
If you want to set back to the system, all you're going to do is press your power button again, and you can go on to the next setting.
BPS limit.
By pulling the trigger. So
BPS fine.
BPS limit is exactly what your overall BPS limit is.
Bypass BPS.
Bypass BPS is for eyes off.
First shot drop.
First shot drop off is for the very first shot that you fire, overcoming any extra friction from sitting and stuff like that. That is a factory setting of 5 milliseconds.
First shot drop timer.
And it has a timer for exactly how long the board is going to wait until the next time that you do that, until the next time that the first shot drop off kicks into place. Timer enable, the game timer, so if you are playing, say, a mechanical game but you're using an electronic gun, which is, you can do that, you can keep track of your time. And then shot count enable is going to give you an idea of how many shot counts you have, which you can track that into place. And vision mode, trigger debounce,
loader delay, mechanical debounce,
loader delay,
auto shutdown, software version, speaker volume.
As you can see, she's loud right now.
Voice select.
And the other thing too is you can actually change the voice select. So the Luxe X is one of the only guns that actually talks to you, which is really cool. And actually will talk to you in different languages. So if it's not English, I believe it's also Russian and some other languages. I think it may be French that you can program the Luxe X to talk to you in, which is really cool. And you can also change the
setting. Default English.
There you go.
Tony Perez. In Espanol.
Spanish. Russian.
Default English.
And English. So I think the second one might have been French, but really, really cool feature. Definitely gives you a high-end feel compared to some of these other markers, which I really do like that. But I mean, honestly, you know, for the majority of people that are going to be using these markers, probably in English, but it is really nice if your main language is not English and you want it to speak to you in Russian or French or Spanish, it will do that, which is really nice. So everything that you could ever want with the programming is there. It's very sensitive. You can change it any which way that you want. I like how simple it is to program everything with the Luxe X. There's enough there, but it's not to the point of complicated that you're never going to have any idea of what's going on at all. And as far as pulling the trigger to get into the programming mode is very simple, and I really like that about that. The trigger is excellent. Tuning the trigger sometimes can be very difficult if you don't know what you're doing. But overall, from the factory, I love the stock trigger that comes with the Luxe X. The feed neck is very nice. It is a locking Q-lock feed neck that has a lever here that you can tighten and loosen as you see fit. It is a very low-lying feed neck so that your hopper is going to sit very close to your marker for that extra little bit of a low profile, which is very nice. And really, that is basically the entire marker. The only other thing that we haven't talked about is the regulator. So the Luxe X comes with the Max Flo Regulator, and we are actually going to take that apart here and show you guys exactly what that's all about. So with your very large Allen key, we are going to take the regulator nut off from the bottom of the regulator. And something I like to mention is that this is not what tunes your velocity, this is what takes your bolt out. So if you're using what seems to be a very massive Allen wrench, chances are you're not tuning your velocity, you're actually taking your regulator apart. And inside there is your Max Flo regulator. And this is actually cross-compatible with the Luxe Ice. We've had a few customers in the store that have decided that they wanted to use the Max Flo regulator on their Luxe Ice, and have gotten significantly different consistency outcomes because of it, increased consistency because of it. So the max flow is very nice. We're going to back that out here and show you guys how to maintain this. As we do that, one thing that I like to mention, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is that if you want to change over the front plate of the Luxe X to a rubber feel, you can actually do that as well. This is how you would do it. You're going to back your Luxe X regulator out, and bada bing, bada boom, there is your front portion of your regulator plate. And we are going to continue to unscrew the max flow regulator from the Luxe X. And as you can see there, it just basically pops out. And here we have the max flow regulator. So basically all you're going to do with max flow regulator in the event that you want to service your piston is grab onto the piston and bada bing, bada boom, there you go. Very simple to access your piston as well as your piston, or your regulator spring I should say. And this just pops out, and then everything else in there is there. And all you have to do is basically just wipe this off. There's an O-ring right there. And if you ever have any issues, Luxe does a really good job of setting up parts diagrams so that you know exactly what size O-ring that you need. You can order that from PunisherPB.com, or you can also order it directly from Luxe, which is really nice. And then basically all this does is pops back into place. Very simple maintenance on the max flow regulator, and all this screws directly back into place. One thing to mention is that when you screw this back into place, at the same time that you're screwing that back into place, you do have to put the front portion of your regulator back in as you're screwing it in. Otherwise, you will not be able to get your front plate back into place. But it's very simple. You're going to screw in the max flow, and at some point, the front plate will also pop into place. All right, so that looks good. And then your regulator nut goes on top of that, and that screws into place. That basically just holds all of that into place. Can you use the marker without it? Yes, but I definitely don't suggest doing that. And all of that just screws in, and then you are done. Very simple maintenance of the regulator system when it comes to the Luxe X. So as you can see, that probably took me about a total of 5 minutes to service the regulator and put it all back together. And very happy with the regulator system. Would I say it's my favorite? Probably not, but I would say that it is very easy to do regardless, and is very consistent, proven consistency there. So there you guys have it. That is the Luxe X disassembled and put back together and kind of broken down. The regulator is really the only thing that you need an Allen key for, which is super awesome. Very simple to take the trigger frame off, clean your marker, and everything else like that. The X-Core bolt system is very simple to wipe off, clean, put some extra Dow 33 that comes in your case, and maintenance the X bolt system. And I like the bolt cap. I've always liked the bolt cap with the Luxes. It's just very simple to pull that out, pop it back into place, and you are ready for action again. The board system, I really like the board system. The only con for me with the board system is that there's no colors. I'm definitely like a color guy, and there's just nothing there when it comes to colors. But I will say this, audible feature is a really nice thing, because when I'm out playing in the sun, I actually like the fact that the gun talks to me. Some people aren't crazy about the fact that the Luxes talk to them, but I will say this, it makes for a very simple way to make sure that you're in the right programming mode, that the gun is actually on as compared to off, and you're not having to second guess yourself by trying to look for a flashing color, or whatever the case may be. The barrel system is phenomenal, the regular system is phenomenal, and everything else like that. Overall, I really like the Luxe X. There have been a few issues in the past, reported issues in the past of the issue of reliability when it comes to certain things just not working completely correct or losing a very small part, because there is definitely some small parts when it comes to the latch mechanism and everything else like that. It's a very different shot than the previous model Luxes. It's much more of a louder and poppier shot as compared to the Luxe Ice, the Luxe OLED, which was more of a poofy shot. With that, it kind of depends on your personal preference. If you're not crazy about the poppy shot, then the Luxe X might not be the marker for you. But with that comes a few things. The one thing that I like to mention is that it is much more efficient as compared to the previous model Luxes, and that is a major selling point for me as a player. Is I'm going to be able to get more pods out of it because the operating pressure is that 110 psi as compared to the 180 psi from the Luxe Ice that was actually released in a video 2 years ago when the Luxe X was released. Luxe was very transparent about what they did there. Customer service wise, you're not going to beat it when it comes to the Luxe. They do a phenomenal job. And with all that said, I think that the next thing that we need to do is we actually need to go out there and shoot it and give you guys an efficiency video as well as a brittle paint test. So here we go. We're going to do that now.
All right, guys, so we're out here at Joel's house in his backyard. This is the efficiency test on the Luxe X for the player review. We are currently using the Blackout Luxe X from our used gear page, a Spire 4 with an end charge, as well as Doug's personal Ninja 77 with just under 4,500 PSI in it. This gun has a total of 11,126 shots on it, and we actually are going to be going off of shot count as well as how many pods we can get through on a 77 on this Luxe X. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so I've got my chrono right here. We're gonna put a couple shots through the chrono first to see where we're at. So first shot, 273, 263, 272, 286, 274. So we're kind of fluctuating. It is pretty cold out here.
It's in the 50s right now.
Yeah, it's in the 50s with a little bit of chill and no sun. So take from that what you will.
Gonna do the best with what we got.
Yeah, so
Let her rip.
We're just gonna rip it.
Grab a pod there, buddy.
All right, so that was an entire hopper, Spire 4. It's, what is it, 220?
Yeah, 220.
Balls. And we are at about 3.5 right now on the PSI.
Okay.
So we're gonna grab another pod. Pod number 2. Gonna have to switch hands, my finger's getting tired. All right, so there it is. That's 2 pods in the hopper so far. Right now we're sitting about 2.5.
Yep. All right, guys, media guy Doug is gonna take over for a second here. Let's rip. Pod number 3.
Oh.
Lost some. It's all right. Pod number 4.
Lost about 10, 20 balls. Doug can't fill a pod. Pod number 5. Let's see where we're at. All right, where are we at on there, Doug? Currently, we are sitting at about your gauge is cracked. 1500 PSI. Let's grab the chrono, put a couple shots through it. First shot, 286, 296, 287, 283. So still consistent. This is pod number 6.
Oh, I'm starting to hear it decline a little bit.
Yeah. 290, 283, 278,
Here, wait.
277.
Let's ramp. Hold on. Hold it again. Let's ramp.
It'll go into
Oh,
yeah.
DPS.
Yeah.
Got it. Grab another pod just for the sake of it here.
Pod number, that was 7, correct?
Yep.
285, 266, 276.
It was actually 268 and then
Oh,
276.
gotcha.
Starting to drop a little bit
Yeah.
here, but let's shoot it dry.
Pod number 8.
Believe so. Let's chrono real quick.
Yep. 268, 264, 283, 271.
It's, I mean, you could still compete with that. I could still clear the field with this if I needed to.
All right, let's hit it with the chrono now. 286, 284, 271, 267. Okay.
You can still play with that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, if I, like, just based on where you would kind of want your shots to be, I mean, it's still in the neighborhood of where it should be.
Pod number 9.
Man, I dumped most of that. Hold up. We have a topper here. That
A topper. Doug is
Doug's
failing.
getting lazy.
Yeah. Come on, Doug.
Getting lazy.
What happened to consistency? 246, 281, 270. Take a couple shots. 262. 258. All right, so we are seeing a little bit of drop off.
Yep. I might determine this as the point where you're going to be in jeopardy if you were actually playing in a game.
Yeah, where are we at on the gauge?
Let's check it out. I see we are at about 1,000 right now, so I would say we should keep going.
Yeah, I would
1,000 PSI. You should
keep
be able to get
going.
through another
When you
pod
see
at
it,
least.
when you see it start dropping off more.
Yep, and this is pod number...
This is pod number 9.
Pod number 9. Let's see what happens after 1,000 PSI. We're starting to drop. Yeah, we're dropping.
Yeah, let's see where we're at. 273, 267, 273. Take a couple shots.
It's
264. When you're going into ramping, it's starting to drop.
That's what I'm trying to watch for right now. Yeah, because right now, if I just single shoot, it clears this branch right here. Well, now they're even starting to drop on that. All right, so I think we've almost reached the point.
258, 247, 254.
Yeah, so if you're getting to this point in the game, you're probably hurting a little bit. We are, yeah, just kind of teetering on top of the 0. It's pretty close to empty, I would say.
Let's see if we can finish that hopper.
Yeah, let's see if we can finish it without too much drop. There is about yay amount left.
Yeah.
And by the way, for everybody who's going to hate on how much paint I dropped, let's just use that other pod that I replenished with as the makeup for that. I'm having a day, all right? Yeah, so it was able to finish the hopper, but those last few shots were really hurting. We are at... Yeah, we're pretty much right at sitting on top of the 0. We're in the danger zone right now.
Oh, frosty.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me wipe off the gauge. Yeah, we're just about in 0. But let's take a look. We're at 11,000.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
Turn it off and we gotta turn it back on.
Powering off.
Just click it.
12,571.
All right, so we'll do the math.
Yeah, we'll do the
and
math.
then
We'll be right back.
we'll be right back. Joel will be right back with that.
All right, so there you have it. We got a total amount of 1,445 shots from the Luxe X. That was on a 7745 fill, and we were shooting in relatively colder weather with no issues, which was really good. Thank you to Keegan and Doug for doing that video for us. So overall, we are very impressed with the Luxe X. These are available at punisherspb.com, can be purchased. Once again, the price point being $1,500 to $1,650, depending upon the anodizing job. But overall, I'm very impressed with the Luxe X. I think that DLX has done a great job with what the different features that the Luxe X brings to the market. Some of these features have never been seen in any other paintball marker, between the rechargeable battery that has an amazing capacity, as well as the quick disconnect trigger frame, which is a phenomenal feature. I like the fact that they changed the case with the Luxe X slightly from the Luxe Ice, and significantly different than the previous models, which is a really nice feature. And overall, you cannot beat the Luxe X when it comes to features. So with that said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. We will be bringing you more comprehensive reviews on paintball markers. If there's something specific that you guys would like for us to do a review video on when it comes to paintball guns, drop a comment below. And as always, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and shop at punisherspb.com. See you guys next time.